Hi, Vapian here again, and today I'm going to show you how to build the Cartomizerfillinator / Cartomizercleaninator version 2. It's an improved version of the one that you've seen in previous videos, and I'm pretty excited about it. Now, before we get into putting one of these together, I would like to talk a little bit about the materials we're going to use. Surprisingly, found a lot of things that I've needed on websites like Amazon and McMaster-Carr. And I found a whole bunch of these Luer lock adapters. This is a female Luer adapter with a tube barb on the end. That one's a Series 500. This is a Series 300 barb. Just different types of barbs made to fit in tubes. I've also used this Luer lock female to male adapter before. It's designed so that you can put needles on it. These are designed to stick into tubes. Tubes are designed to stick into tubes. I've even put battery connectors on some of these before, trying to come up with more effective ways to attach cleaning devices to syringes. These things are like liquid handling Legos. I mean, really, Legos. If you've got a rectangle and you want something more like a square, you snap another Lego on. If you want it offset, you take it off and you move it. If you want an odd size, well, they make them. And you can snap that on there any way you want to make anything you want. That's exactly what these commonly available commercial pieces parts are for. They're for hobbyists, they're for liquid handlers, they're for laboratory people to come up with solutions for their liquid handling needs. In our case, all we need to do is bring some liquid into a cartomizer and flush it out. So that's all we're doing with these. It's not especially unique, it's not especially creative, it's just a way for us to accomplish a goal using readily available pieces parts. The upside of this is that if you have a unique need, you can go out there and take a look at the various types of tubing that are available, find something with the right inside and outside diameters, the right wall thicknesses, the right types of adapters, and you can put together just about anything you want. Let's get on with it and take a look at how we actually build the Cartomizerfillinator / Cartomizercleaninator version 2. What I have in the work area now is everything we need to start building this device. I have a couple of Luer lock adapters. It's a female Luer lock on one end and a tube barb on the other that is a 1/4 inch diameter, or it's made to fit in tubing that is a 1/4 inch in diameter. These are made by a company called VwV Plastics. You can find them on Amazon, you can find them at various other websites. Normally you have to buy them in lots of 25. You can buy them in lots as small as 10. Not quite as cost effective overall if you're going to build several of these, but if you just need to build one, it might be hard to find just one or two of these to play with. What we're going to do is we're going to take a bit of tubing. This is food grade vinyl tubing. It's 1/4 inch inside diameter, 3/8 of an inch outside diameter. And all we're going to do is take one of these and put it onto this adapter. I find that a little bit of water often helps these things slip together a bit easier. All you have to do is put your pre-cut piece of tubing on the tabletop and push down until the tubing has mated all the way down onto that female Luer adapter. You want to try and get it even with the knurled ring. That way we can grip that later on if we need to. Now, I pre-cut these to length. Another thing that you can do is just stick the adapter into the end of whatever length of tubing you have. Use a sharp knife to cut it off to the right length where it's flush with the tip. That part was easy. The next part can be a little more difficult, but I'm hoping it will go well for video. Now, I talked about having two different types of adapters. One of these is a type 300 barb, the other is a type 500 barb. You don't really have to worry about why they're called that. All you have to know is that the type 500 barb is a little bit bigger in diameter. So we're going to use that to fill another piece of tubing that's larger, and we're going to use the smaller one for a smaller piece of tubing. What we are doing is using two more types of tubing. Both of them, again, soft vinyl food grade tubing. This one has an inside diameter of 9 millimeter, and this one has an inside diameter of 10 millimeters. This one that's 9 millimeters is going to fit most common types of cartomizers, 510s, 808s, and that type of thing. This 10 millimeter one is going to fit larger ones like 510 megas, Go-Go's, and Echo-E's. Now, using the syringe to hold onto it just like I did when I put the small piece of tubing on there, I'm going to wet these tubes a bit so they slide together a little better. Use the tabletop to push the one adapter into the tube, and the goal once again is to try and get the end of the tube flush with that knurled ring. You might have to push a little bit. You might even have to hammer a little bit, but once you get it on there, you'll have part one of the Cartomizerfillinator already put together. Two pieces of tubing and an adapter. You follow the same procedure to build the smaller adapter for the 9 millimeter size and the more common cartomizers. But this part is easy. One thing I will note, in the event that you run into a problem with getting these tubes together, because this vinyl can be kind of sticky, you can use a large bulldog clip. It's got a smooth finish to it. It's a nice heavy wire that doesn't bend. You can work that down between this tubing to reposition it if you need to. You just want to try and be sure that you don't get the edge in there in such a way that it cuts the inside of the tubing and creates an avenue for leaks or just to compromise the body of the tube itself. After you have the initial adapters built, there's some more tubing we can stick together here to make an output adapter, if you will, for the opposite end of the cartomizer, the end away from the syringe. I have some lengths of the 1/4 inch inside diameter, 3/8 of an inch outside diameter vinyl tubing that are cut to about 3 3/4 of an inch long. That is basically long enough, once it's assembled, to bottom out in a 30 ml bottle of nicquid. It's not so long that it's unwieldy or increases the chances that you're going to knock that bottle over and spill. And it's also long enough for you to direct the flow of water out of the cartomizer when you're cleaning to make sure that you hit the sink. Now, I also have two smaller pieces of that same 1/4 inch inside diameter tubing. These are about 3/8 of an inch or 1/2 inch long, and we're going to modify these to make flow restrictors that go into the ends of these longer tubes, and I'll explain the reason for that later. The basic concept here is we want to cut this tubing once, and then about a little over 90 degrees out, a little over 1/4 of the way around, we want to cut out just a little bit of that tubing. This will allow us to create a smaller diameter tube once we insert this into that longer piece of tubing. You don't want to take away too much at once, because if you make it too small, it won't stay in place. I'll try and do a bit of a test fit and see if you can get that in there, which it looks like we can. So I'm going to dip this end in some water again and put this tubing together. And push it in until it is flush with the end of the tube. Now, what this is going to do is create a smaller diameter, which is going to create a little bit of back pressure when we are flushing water out of the cartomizer. If the mouthpiece end is against this, hitting that small diameter will create some back pressure, which ensures that your flushing fluid, whether it's water or alcohol, actually reaches the back of the cartomizer, the battery end of the cartomizer. If you try and flush out of a larger tube like this, most of your liquid is just going to shoot straight through the cartomizer, and because of the flow characteristics inside there, you're not going to get it quite as clean as you will with this on the end of the tube. The other thing that this does is it also makes this tube flare out just a little bit to provide a better seal for these pieces. Now this is our 9mm and 10mm inside diameter tubing, and it's cut to a length of about an inch and a quarter, maybe a little bit less. And what we're really going to do here is just stick this tube that we've inserted that flow constrictor into our slightly longer piece of 9 and 10mm tubing. When you're done, you will have two matched sets of cleaning and filling kits. One with 9mm on both ends, another with 10mm on both ends, and due to the soft pliable nature of this vinyl tubing, they'll stretch a little bit to fit some different sizes. In fact, I'd venture to say that this will clean just about any cartomizer on the market, unless there's something just really big or really tiny out there. For example, our 9mm kit will fit on a standard 510 cartomizer, and screw that onto any standard Luer lock syringe. You can draw water through, push water out, and it takes more than one cycle to actually do anything, but it works just great. This also works with the 808 style cartomizers. Same on both ends. And also slightly larger cartomizers like these clear 808s that are a little bit bigger in diameter also work great with that 9mm tubing. Now if you have a larger oddball type of cartomizer, then you can use the 10mm adapter and output adapter to take care of those. For example, something like a 510 mega or this Go-Go cartomizer works great, and the cool thing about it is, unlike my previous iteration of this device, you can treat this larger Go-Go cartomizer just like any other cartomizer. And even this oddball Echo E cartomizer works great. Slip the narrow end in the syringe, and this takes a little bit of doing, but compress that tube adapter for the output into the bottom, and that provides a nice liquid tight seal that you can use to flush water through this, and it'll even work for filling, which I could not do with the previous version of the Cartomizerfillinator. And that is the basic construction technique for building the Cartomizerfillinator / Cartomizercleaninator version 2. 3 types of tubing, 2 types of female Luer to tube barb adapters, cut into 10 pieces to make a 4-piece system which can clean just about any cartomizer out there. I'd like to thank everyone who has participated in the Cartomizerfillinator thread on the electronic cigarette forums. Your feedback and discussion and ideas have really helped make this project what it is. Very open source, very collectively designed, and it's just been phenomenal to be a part of this. And keep your eye open for a follow-up video that will show both cleaning and filling tests with clear cartomizers, so we can see just how effective these really are at cleaning cartomizers and just how much fluid and nicquid it takes to perform these tasks. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.